chapter is not built through PowerPoint slides or policies. It's built through experience, and well-being is not a perk. We consciously stayed away from heavy clinical terms. Instead of saying mental illness, we'll speak about emotional balance, reconnecting with self, or creating peace in your space. And that softened the entry point for our audiences.
Hi there, welcome to the Startup Evangelist Ideas for Africa. Today I'm joined by Maria Grace, an entrepreneur in the wellness space. So we are going to learn more about what she's up to, her journey, and the opportunities that lie in the sector, going forward. Welcome, Maria.
Thank you.
You're the founder of G Lights. As I understood, it's a wellness brand rooted in aromatherapy and sensory healing. You've championed the role of scent, breath, and intentional rituals as a means to overcome, challenges like insomnia, stress, and burnout, which is a very big problem in our society. With this in mind, probably could start us off by introducing yourself, including your personal and professional journey that has led you to this path as a wellness entrepreneur.
Hi, Daniel. Thank you for having me on the Startup Evangelist podcast. My name is Maria Grace Situma, and I'm the founder of G Light Candles, a Kenya wellness brand that is all about healing with scents. Ideally, this will be the Scented Summit experience. These are different candle products, and we have it in different shapes and sizes. So from the packaging, how it's packed, to now the scents, when you sniff the entire scent. So ideally, we always have different colors, but this time we've decided to do white. But if you want it tailored to either white, brown, green, depending on how you feel, it can be made with the different colors as well. So that is pumpkin spice. So it's lit when someone wants to calm and have an entire feel. So if you can't afford that, you can have these wax melts, a pack of wax melts. All the care instructions are written here. And also you can scan for more details. Yeah, if you want. I consider myself as a wellness experience curator, an advocate for self-care, and an entrepreneur on a mission to reintroduce rest, presence, and healing into our fast-paced lives. My journey into aromatherapy wasn't just business. It was personal. I went through a deeply unsettling season in my life when my senses felt overstimulated. And I started to feel completely disconnected with myself. You see, our 5 senses are integrated. And trust me, I've had my fair share of struggles. My eyes, they failed me, so I've been wearing spectacles for quite some time. And my ears and nose, I've had an ENT problem since childhood. And my dad did everything he could to get me specialized care and the best doctors. But in those in and out hospital visits, they were not pretty. So the only scent that didn't fail me is touch. At least a friend of mine jokes about it. And honestly, I'll take that as a win. But emotionally, I was struggling. Even the basic breathing in and out, I could not do the simple PE exercise and or the yoga practices that people do. So it felt like a fight for me. I couldn't connect, I couldn't release, and I felt stuck in my own body. So that's when I started introducing aromatherapy into my breathwork trip. And I'll never forget my first breathing intentionally outdoors. It was such a win for me. It was like a full-on celebration. So traditional breath work didn't work for me then, but when scents entered the room, uh, it grounded me and it was gentle, so it clicked. I cut through the fog of burnout and anxiety, and all that grounded my breath. So I realized then that it wasn't just dealing with stress. I was experiencing a sensory disconnection, a kind of a stress induced breathing difficulty that willpower could not fix. But when sense returned in my space, so did my breath and so did my clarity. And that's how Delights was born, from a very real place of personal healing. Even as a child, scented candles fascinated me. I'll watch my dad light candles during prayer or burn incense just to calm the room. I remember walking through the aisles in Nakumat, totally enchanted, sniffing everything and knowing why it felt. Then I didn't know why it felt so comforting, but it always did. So that's how I got grounded with sense. And also the name G Lights is personal. The G stands for Grace, first name, because I grew up in a family of full of M names and I was the only G. I leaned into my other name, Maria, to blend in, but Grace is who I am at the core. I'm the fixer, the healer, and the one who shows up with solution. So G Lights became an extension of that, lighting the paths of others, even in their darkest moments. Because one of the most defining moments in this journey was working with a client navigating deep grief. She told me that one of our candles helped her sleep, the first real rest she had in weeks after losing the dad. And that reminded me G-Light isn't about fragrance. It's about emotional healing, it's about presence, and it's about soul. So for me, this isn't just a product, it's a movement, a way of bridging scent, stiffness, and stillness and soul back into people's daily lives. Then now from a professional layer, I come from a background of finance and investment. And now, as a wellness experience curator and entrepreneur, I've learned how the integration and experience of these diverse industries can create meaningful impact. From an investment point of view, I've come to understand that the most valuable investment you'll ever make is in yourself, especially life-changing experiences or building, supporting businesses that prioritizes healing, wellness, and human connection. You are your greatest asset. And when you're well, emotionally, physically, and mentally, everything else begins to align. And wellness isn't a luxury. It's a form of return on investment. Then from an entrepreneurial and wellness perspective, the impact we are making in people's life is both immense, intimate. We're not just selling products. We are creating rituals. We are helping people come home to themselves, often after seasons of burnout, anxiety, grief, or disconnection. There is something incredibly powerful about knowing that a candle you made or a scent that you curated helped someone sleep. It helped someone grieve and it also helped someone pause. That's what Delights is all about. It's where financial literacy meets emotional well being, where experience and healing integrate. And that's the fusion of what keeps me going. Positioning it from a thought leadership, we are championing aromatherapy as a complementary wellness tool, especially in many urban African communities where mental fatigue, emotional burnout, and spiritual disconnections are very real but ignored. We believe healing doesn't always have to be clinical. Sometimes it starts with a scent, a quiet moment, and a little light. I always say, in a world that's constantly doing, rest is a form of resistance, and healing is a quiet revolution. That, that's what Delights is about.
Wow. Very, very insightful. I think I've taken a few insights. The fact that you've mentioned G-Lights is not about fragrance. Basically fragrance is just a means to a larger end. I like the perspective you've given around, lighting is not about fragrance. It's a means to a larger end. You've also connected to, the current world we are living in, urban Africa, rapidly urbanizing, a lot of high stress environment. And as you were talking, I was thinking about a statistic by WHO. I think it was in 2019. They mentioned around 15% of the global workforce is affected from one sort of mental disorder. And most of these disorders are linked to toxic work environments, stress, and burnout. So from your perspective as a wellness entrepreneur, how do you think brands like yourselves can help individuals, professionals, and corporates improve their workplace culture and also boost performance and productivity?
That WHO insight is a wake up call. And honestly, it's probably higher today post pandemic. So many workplaces are filled with people running on empty. Employees who are showing up physically, but mentally and emotionally, they've checked out. That's where burnout, stress can easily uh, get people into depression or having chronic stress. What we often forget is that culture is not built through PowerPoint slides or policies. It's built through experience, and well-being is not a perk. It's a performance strategy. So where Delight comes in, we work with companies to introduce intentional wellness rituals into the workplace. Simple sensory experiences that help employees regulate stress, reconnect to themselves, and restore clarity. For example, our aromatherapy candles are used in employee care packages or as part of a self-care station in the office. We also create breath and pause moments for team officials off-site or in-site, or leadership sessions where they're having meetings and employees can experience guided scent-based mindfulness or a reflection. We've even done custom wellness gifting, especially for HR or wellness communities or managers who want to appreciate their team in more meaningful ways. What this does is it shifts the emotional tone of a workplace. It says we care about how you feel. And that alone boosts the retention and productivity. It's not about turning every office into a spa. It's about creating micro moments of presence in high pressure environment. Gillettes believe that well employees is a powerful employee. And when you light up their internal work, it starts to show their work, their energy, and their relationship.
Yeah, interesting. So I think there's much more corporates can do in terms of providing value to their teams and their talents. I think most of us are used to the traditional team building activities. They are not bad in and of themselves, but sometimes we notice that they can be very plastic. They can be very surface. And you energize a team for a weekend, they come back for a month or two, but they go back to default settings, and productivity goes down. And because you've not dealt with issues around culture, uh, and the stress levels that they are working around with, maybe also tying it to the individual. I know in our African culture, um, outward expression of emotion is not encouraged, particularly in some genders. Like, for example, I can speak for myself. Like men, we don't cry. We are not allowed to be expressive even when we are going through tough moments. So my thinking is, how can a brand like G Lights and the work you do, how have you seen it work for, particularly on the B2C side, in terms of communities, individuals, families embracing such products? My immediate thinking is a lot of healthcare initiatives, it's the corporates that buy. So, for example, I think our medical insurance penetration is less than 5%, and the bulk of that is mainly corporates buying insurance covers for the employees. So it's even the basic traditional forms of healthcare, a lot of individual families are not embracing, maybe out of costs or maybe awareness or other issues. So maybe from your perspective, what would you say are what you're learning in terms of awareness, particularly for B2C customers, particularly something that even other entrepreneurs in this space can learn and adopt. Yeah.
That's such an important and timely question.
Yeah.
In many African societies, and I'll speak particularly from an East African perspective, there's often a deep-rooted cultural expectation, especially for men, to remain stoic. Showing vulnerability is frequently equated to weakness. You hear phrases like "be a man,"
Yeah.
"do not cry,"
Man up.
from a very young age. Yeah. So naturally, this contributes to a culture of emotional suppression and science around mental health. So what G Lights have done is we've recognized early on that we aren't just introducing a product, we are trying to shift a mindset. Aromatherapy, wellness rituals, and conversations around emotional healing are still relatively new in the mainstream. Africa, in African spaces, especially among B2C audiences. So awareness creation has had to be very intentional. So what has worked for us is storytelling over selling. People don't connect to products, they connect to stories. We've found that sharing personal journeys, why G-Light was born, how Sense supported our clients during different moments of anxiety, burnout, or grief resonated deeply. And this humanized the brand and opened up spaces for dialogue. We've also created safe space, no, no judgmental experiences. We embedded our brand into experience-based activations, pop-ups, wellness days, and scent therapy corners. Instead of preaching about mental health, we let people feel the power of wellness. We would invite them to experience our scents in calm, and cozy setups. No pressure, no judgment, just presence and a soft approach lowered mental defenses. We've also leveraged women as wellness gatekeepers. Most of these families we get to see, women are the ones introducing either their children or their husbands to scented candles. And also language matters a lot. We consciously stayed away from heavy clinical terms. Instead of saying mental illness, we will speak about emotional balance, reconnecting with self, or creating peace in your space. And that softened the entry point for our audiences. And also digital communities and social proof. Our Instagram lives, DMs, and wellness challenges became powerful tools for feedback and connections. When people saw others show up and how delights help them sleep better or feel calmer, it normalized wellness. So that peer validation is called in B2C marketing. So my advice to other innovators in the space is understand your culture before your market. Tailor your message to meet people where they are emotionally and socially. Invest in education-driven content. Don't assume people who understand your product.
Yeah.
Or why they need it.
Yeah.
Teach, show, demonstrate. Create communities and not customers. Let your users become your brand ambassadors by giving them voice and value. Ultimately, what I've learned is that healing is in our African context must be experiential, collective, and culturally sensitive. That's how we are building trust, transforming lives, one scent, one story, one soul at a time.
Wow. So very interesting. So I think I've liked what you've mentioned around language and storytelling. It seems like the human brain, there are some words that when you hear, you will just block. Someone doesn't want to be told they have a mental disorder because maybe they are living in denial. They won't engage. But when you just say, we are helping you to rebalance your emotions or recalibrate your senses, it kind of opens up for that conversation to happen. So very interesting that you've been able to connect to African audiences using languages and sentiments that they're able to understand and not that are not repulsive. Maybe to add on to what you're saying, we've talked about you've mentioned quite elaborately around B2C. Now, if I look at the larger now market, I did some study and I looked at the global medical tourism space. I think last year it was valued at $145 billion, and it's projected to go to 700 billion by 2033. And we've seen countries like India, the likes of Thailand and Turkey, being well known for attracting medical tourists, and also markets like Costa Rica and Dubai in terms of building medical devices and technologies that are used in that regard. So my question becomes, what are some of the untapped opportunities? Because I know for G-Lights, you're also promoting medical tourism as an entry point for wellness. So what are the opportunities that you see that possibly countries like Kenya and Africa at large we could tap into and grow the medical tourism space? Because we do have, I would say, hidden gems. We have wonderful flora, we have forests, we have gardens, we have a welcoming culture, we have beaches, we have very very good scenery that can work for the medical tourism ecosystem. Yeah.
That statistic is both impressive and eye-opening. The global medical tourism market reaching over 700 USD
Billion, yeah.
by 2033
Yep.
shows just how much people are willing to invest in quality, accessible, and affordable healthcare,
Yeah.
often beyond their borders. Countries like India, Thailand have mastered this by offering world-class procedures at a fraction of Western costs. And they've built an entire ecosystem around that promise. Now, when we zoom back into Africa, and more specifically Kenya, I believe we are sitting on a gold mine of untapped potential. Kenya has a unique strength. We already have a solid foundation in healthcare. Kenya boasts highly trained medical professionals, many of whom have worked or studied abroad. We also have English as a primary language, which removes communication barrier for international patients. Our weather is also favorable, and Nairobi is well connected by air. So why aren't we a top-tier destination yet? We also have untapped opportunities. One of them is our specialized services at affordable prices. Kenya can position itself as a niche medical service like fertility treatments, dental surgery, cosmetic procedures, orthopedic care, or wellness integrated post-op recovery that are prohibitively expensive in the West. We can also integrate wellness and medical care by combining a strong tourism sector with the healthcare, offering that blend treatment with post-procedure healing in serene natural environments like Naivasha or Diani. Because imagine a hip replacement followed by a rehab in a wellness resort overlooking Mount Kenya. And also we can target the African diaspora and regional markets.
Yeah.
Many Africans living abroad would prefer to receive care back home. If standards and infrastructure were reliable, Kenya could position itself as a go-to destination for the African diaspora and regional neighbors like Uganda, Rwanda, and even the DRC. What it will take for us to unlock this potential is one, policy. We need to streamline medical visas for inbound patients and caregivers. And the government should show the accredited and standardized hospitals offering medical tourism services. And also through the public-private partnerships to co-invest in infrastructure, training, and marketing. The other thing is we could also have business models, innovative business models, where we build ecosystems, not just hospitals. That means concierge services, recovery hotels, interpreter support, telehealth follow-ups, and bundled packages. Also, the cross-sector collaboration between the hospital, wellness brands, airlines, travel agencies, and insurance companies to create seamless end-to-end experiences. And also, we cannot forget technology. We should embrace telemedicine, remote consultation, so international patients can start their care journey before even arriving.
Yeah.
We should use digital platforms to build trust, offer transparency on pricing, success rates, and also patient testimonials. We can also leverage AI-powered diagnostics, e-records, and virtual reality to us of hospital facilities to remove doubt and increase credibility. So in short, Kenya is ready, but we need to align between the government, policymakers, private sectors, innovation, and tech-driven customers experience. If we get that right, we won't just participate in the medical tourism boom. We will lead the Africa wave of it. So these wax melts are lit on this burner. So if you have this burner where you put your tea light candle down here, you light it, then place it here, then just pick one wax melt and place it here. So it will melt and the entire aroma will fill the entire room. So you can either use on an electric burner. This is not an electric burner, but we have an electric burner. You use this. So this is a linen spray.
And this one I can even use, like I'm working, it can just be in the background as, maybe I'm working or brainstorming.
Yeah, you can just light it. Yeah. So this is either a room linen spray. It can also act as a pillow mist, where you spray on your pillow to just calm you before you sleep. Or you can spray it on your sheets or on your curtains just to bring that calming effect to your beddings or environment as well.
Question is safety. So these are all natural.
Yeah, it's made with soy wax.
So, not chemical, not corrosive to your skin if you sleep on the pillow. Very
Yeah, we use essential oils and fragrance oils. So we also have all these are candles, but in different packaging. So you see the care packages for corporates and individuals as well. When you do an entire unboxing, first you'll see the instructions are here. You need to trim your candles, the burn time and all that. So you just check this and also open the box carefully because the candle can break. Okay, nakat.
Yeah, it's quite heavy. Anyway, so
But there's a candle there, and inside this box,
yeah,
I think let's just try and open. We have a instruction and care package into it. So we also have a reed diffuser here, where you use, these are the reeds, then this can be just placed in your living room or your space to now have that aroma fill up the space.
Why are you calling it a diffuser? Is it
because the scent will diffuse into air?
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is the biggest candle.
So this is the one you trim.
Yes. Yeah. So
it can even be for sleep, inducing sleep, for couples, romance, and also just general well-being.
yes. Then now we have the pillar candles in different shapes, size, and also different colors. Because this is tapered. This is a tapa candle. It has the strips to eat.
Is it same as this or different?
That's not tapered. So this is smooth. That's no, it's the same.
It's the same.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the different colors and shapes, and also the tea light candles. Yeah. So all these are lit either in your room, in your spaces, or in circles while communicating, conversing. It brings a safe space and a safe and
Calming feeling.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So I've gotten some very interesting ideas. You there's the issue of, from a policy perspective, medical visas, streamlining that, in terms of access and awareness. You've mentioned something to do with, championing our unique, unique positioning. Our weather is good. We have, top level destinations. We already have a functional healthcare system, healthcare professionals that are at par to global standards. We have largely English speaking communities. And then there are also opportunities around technology, in addition to PPP models. I think if I reflect what you've mentioned, we have, I think mobile money is very ubiquitous here. I think we have one of the highest phone and social media usage rates in the world. So if we embed all these systems into an all-rounded healthcare ecosystem, I think we should be able to tap into the global medical tourism market. So I think there's a lot more, probably government players that are listening, that we listen to this, can be able to chew on and add on to this movement. Maybe to add on to what you're saying now, you're also now being involved in what you call a flagship event around medical tourism. You're calling it the Medical Tourism Summit, alongside the Scented Summit. So a very interesting initiative. Maybe you can share more about it, what you aim to achieve, and how can individuals and corporates get on board and be involved in it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is something I'm deeply passionate about. And at Gillites, we've always believed that the wellness industry isn't a luxury industry, it's a right. And yet, in many African countries, wellness and medical tourism is either misunderstood or underdeveloped. That's what led us to launch 2 flagship initiatives: the Kenya Wellness and Medical Tourism Summit and the Scented Summit. So the Kenya Wellness and Medical Tourism Summit, this is the first of its kind in Kenya. A convening of health, wellness, policy, and tourism stakeholders to shape the future of the growing industry. The goal is to spotlight Kenya as a serious player in the global medical and wellness industry, and also foster cross-sector collaboration between hospitals, wellness brand, hospitality, government, and private investors. And most importantly, prioritize the African wellness experiences, ensuring it's accessible, inclusive, and sustainable. This is not just a summit, it's a platform for economic transformation, health equity, and also positioning Africa on the global wellness map. Then the Scented Summit, this is our creative and sensory-driven experience platform led by Gillites. It's designed to celebrate the power of scent in healing, emotional, mental, and physical, to bring together individuals, therapists, creatives, and healers who use holistic tools in wellness journey, and also to encourage people to reconnect with themselves through their senses. It's a softer, more intimate summit curated for personal transformation, but still tied to our larger vision of promoting intentional, accessible self-care in Africa spaces. So how individuals and organizations can collaborate. We are open to collaboration in many ways. Brands and businesses can come on board as partners, co-creators, or exhibitors. Wellness professionals, from therapists to nutritionists, yoga teachers, and clinical experts, can host sessions or panels. Then investors, government representatives, and tourism bodies can help shape long-term policy, and infrastructure. And of course, individuals can attend, volunteer, or support through social sharing and storytelling. This is a movement to restore balance, elevate African wellness narratives, and build a thriving ecosystem that supports healing in every form. So, whether you're a wellness brand, a hospital, a policymaker, or just someone seeking deeper well being, you belong in this space and we would love to co create with you.
Well said. I think very interesting stakeholders that would be ideal for. I think I've taken notes around people in the real estate wellness sectors like spas and hospitality industries, country clubs, for example, and then anyone who is in a high pressure or high profile environment. So I'm thinking startups, SMEs, large corporates, people either in HR, um, there are people in sales, finance, these are very high intense industries. There's the medical sector, obviously, like hospital chains, healthcare insurance. There's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of trauma in the economy and the ecosystem. So there's a need for therapy services in hospitals, and a lot of hospitals are largely underutilized or even underinvested in that space. So there's that. I think the tourism sector. I think the role of university and research organizations. Um, in healthcare, we've seen the challenges of USAID pulling out of a lot of research funding to universities. So there's need to look at how do we self-finance such opportunities. And then generally, anyone who is just thinking holistically about their health should be part of this. Maria, looking ahead now, wearing the projection hats, we've talked about the past, the present, the current challenges, the opportunities. Maybe what do you see are some of the meaningful changes that you anticipate over the next 5 years for, we could talk about Kenya or East Africa from a medical tourism space. What are some of the shifts you expect in the ecosystem? Noting what you've already mentioned in terms of the gaps that we already have. Yeah.
Looking ahead, I believe the next 5 years will be a turning point for the wellness and medical tourism ecosystem in Kenya and the broader East Africa region. We're already seeing early indicators of transformation, but I think three meaningful shifts are on the horizon. The first one is Africa will start defining its own wellness language. For too long, wellness in our context has been important, both in practice and packaging. In the next 5 years, we believe we will see an Afrocentric wellness framework emerge, one that blends modern science with indigenous healing practices, spirituality, and community living. We will also have sensory therapists. It will be culturally rooted and globally relevant. We'll see more of local brands like G-Lights stepping up to say healing can feel like home. Then the medical tourism will move from idea to industry because countries like Kenya are already laying the groundwork.
Yeah.
I foresee a formalized industry emerging, complete with accreditation bodies, medical tourism specific infrastructure, and stronger health tourism marketing arms. We will attract not just patients from abroad, but also from within the continent, especially the diaspora and neighboring countries. Kenya can easily become the medical tourism hub of East Africa, Central Africa, if the ecosystem aligns. And also the third aspect is a convergence of health, tech, and tourism. Technology will be the biggest game changer, from AI-driven diagnosis to and telemedicine to digital healthcare records and virtual consultation for pre and post travel care. Healthcare will no longer start when a patient walks into a hospital. It will start online. We will also see more of integrated packages. Think surgical care plus recovery, stays at wellness resorts, or diagnostic trips that include mental health retreats, and the experience will remain just as much as the treatment. For the vision to materialize we need intentional collaboration between the government, private sector, creatives, and even spiritual leaders. Wellness is not just about the body, it's about the soul, the mind, the economy, and our collective future. So in 5 years, I don't just see more clinics or tourists. I see a redefined African wellness identity, one that tells the world healing happens here too.
Wow. What a beautiful picture of the future. I think you've mentioned very interesting. You've mentioned the fact that the patient journey will start online. So I would start diagnosis from home and maybe end in a hospital or a wellness retreat center. You've mentioned the fact that this can also be a form of export. We've always thought of export in terms of tea, coffee, but if you add medical tourism and we become a hub, we could be exporting this as a service offering to the rest of Africa and the world. I think you've also mentioned something to do with more infrastructure, not only on technology, but also a lot of spaces that are more embedded, not only from a hotel industry, but also on the medical side as well. So thank you for that. Very insightful. I've learned a lot. I'm very excited about what you're doing. Particularly, for people like us who've always, we've always wanted to support healthcare startups and healthcare businesses, but we've not had as many opportunities as we would wished for, compared to other sectors like fintech, real estate, other sectors that have gotten more attention. So I think what you're doing is very inspiring, and very transformational, and I'm sure you're leading the charge for others to follow what you're doing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.